An insurance company run by a wealthy English family assigned a group of adventurers to track down a young heiress whose plane crashed in the jungle a few years earlier. Left for dead, the orphan has grown into Gungala, the beautiful white queen of a native tribe of warriors, growing up alongside a faithful black panther. But now, a cruel Arab is determined to steal the sacred diamond necklace Gungala wears around her neck, and his vicious followers will stop at nothing to get their hands on the precious jewel. Can the white invaders trap Gungala, the majestic naked panther? One of the factors that led to sad existence as a bad movie fan was watching Johnny Weissmuller's Tarzan flicks when they actually used to show such films on the television. From Tarzan clearly swinging through the jungle on a trapeze swing to fighting a rubber crocodile. From cheetah going from a live chimp to a hairy rag doll when thrown across the jungle floor. It was a constant source of hilarity. So it was that within about 10 minutes of Gungala, I realized that I was getting Tarzan, only with bodies and less laugh. I didn't realize that before resorting to slaughtering animals in real life to provide entertainment with Cannibal Holocaust and Last Cannibal World, Ruggero Deodato had made this film a jungle action flick that began nice enough with the pretty kitty Swan running about the jungle in the buff to a nice theme tune. Sadly, the first thing she seems to learn from the modern women is how to cover up. You see, Gungala is the long lost heiress to a huge fortune who vanished when a plane crashed in the jungle some years before. An expedition is sent either by her family or an insurance company, and I have now resorted to having to translate Spanish on the fly, as well as Italian, and of course not everyone involved in the expedition is entirely trustworthy. Julie works for the company, as does her colleague Johnny. The blonde guy, perhaps a relative of Gungala's. Of course, there is an evil foreign guy working independently with the local cannibals we have to look out for too, as well as a drunken match like man. But first, as with the Weissmuller films, all the black potters must be slaughtered by the natives about 10 seconds after everyone set foot in the jungle. But don't worry, our white heroes are safe behind their suitcase barricade with their long range rifles. It's not long, of course, before Gungala turns up with her pet panther and start acting like a cat and making Julie jealous. But then I think Johnny started hitting it off with Gungala, and we get a very lengthy sequence where Gungala imitates various animals while Johnny tries to figure out what can I mess your pap is animal talk. Also, the foreign guy keeps trying to kill everyone, and those nasty cannibal type are overdue for a jungle chase. So how is the plot going to fit in the quicksand sequence, the tribal drumming sequence, the topless native girl sequence, the topless cannibal tribe women sequence, the Gungala and the chimp versus the cannibal tribesman sequence? Before we get to the big escape part with Gungala calling in her elephant friends, all of that was par for the course with those Johnny Weissmuller films. So why am I complaining about this one? It's just a bit dry and serious, I guess. But then, would you rather have a bunch of actors tear apart a turtle for real? Ruggero Deodato was an Italian film director, screenwriter and actor. His career spanned a wide range of genres including peplum, comedy, drama, poliziesco and science fiction. Yet he is perhaps best known for directing violent and gory horror films with strong element of realism. His most notable film is Cannibal Holocaust, considered one of the most controversial and brutal in the history of cinema, which was seized, banned or heavily censored in many countries, and which contained special effects so realistic that they led to Deodato being arrested on suspicion of murder. It is also cited as a precursor of found footage films such as The Blair Witch Project and The Last Broadcast. The film strengthened Deodato's fame as an extreme director and earned him the nickname Monsieur Cannibal in France. Deodato was an influence on film directors like Oliver Stone, Quentin Tarantino and Eli Roth. Deodato was born in Potenza and moved to Rome with his family as a child. He went to Denmark and started as a musician playing piano and conducting a small orchestra at 7 years old. Once back to Italy, he quit music after his private teacher sent him away for playing by ear. Deodato grew up on a farm and at 18 grew up in the neighborhood where Rome's major film studios are located. Through a friendship with the son of Rossellini, it was there that he learned how to direct under Roberto Rossellini and Sergio Corbucci. He helped to make Corbucci The Slave and Django as an assistant director. Later on in the 1960s, he directed some comedy, musical, and thriller films before leaving cinema to do TV commercials. In 1967, he returned to the big screen with his ultra-violent police flick Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man. In 1977, he directed a jungle adventure called Last Cannibal World, also known as Jungle Holocaust, starring British actress Micaela, with which he rebooted the cannibal film mondo genre, started years earlier by Italian director Umberto Lenzi. Late in 1979, he returned to the cannibal subgenre with the controversial Cannibal Holocaust. The film was shot in the Amazon rainforest for a budget of about $1 lakh and starred Robert Corman, Francesca Ciardi, and Carl Gabriel York. The film is a mockumentary about a group of filmmakers who go into the Amazon rainforest and subsequently stage scene of extreme brutality for a Mondo-style documentary. During production, many cast and crew members protested the use of real animal killing in the film, including Corman, who walked off the set. Deodato created massive controversy in Italy and all over the world following the release of Cannibal Holocaust, which was wrongly claimed by some to be a snuff film due to the overly realistic gore effect. Deodato was arrested on suspicion of murder and was subsequently forced to reveal the secret behind the film's special effect and to parade the lead actors before an Italian court in order to prove that they were still alive. Deodato also received condemnation still ongoing for the use of real animal torture in his films. Despite the numerous criticism, Cannibal Holocaust is considered a classic of the horror genre and innovative in its found footage plot structure. Deodato's 1980 film, The House on the Edge of the Park, was the most censored of the video nasties in the United Kingdom for its graphic violence. His Cut and Run is a jungle adventure thriller containing nudity, extreme violence, and the appearance of Michael Berryman as a crazed, machete-wielding jungle man. In the 1980s, he made some other slasher horror films, including Body Count, Phantom of Death, and Dial Help. In the 1990s, he turned to TV movies and dramas with some success. In 2007, he made a cameo appearance in Hostel Part 2 in the role of a cannibal. Deodato made about 24 films and TV series. His films covering many different genres, including many action films, a western, a barbarian film, and even a family film called Mom, I Can Do It. He was also helping to develop a cannibal themed video game called Borneo, a Jungle Nightmare. Throughout his career, Deodato was attached to a number of projects which either didn't come to fruition or for various reasons were assigned to other directors. He was initially attached to the New York Ripper, The Last Shark, Casablanca Express, and Amazonia, The Catherine Miles Story. Unmade projects included a snake thriller, Rattle, and a sequel to Cannibal Holocaust entitled Cannibal Fury, which was to enter production in 1983. Deodato was married to actress Silvia Dionisio from 1971 to 1979. He had a son from the marriage. His partner was Michael Rocco. In 2019, the filmmaker was honored with a documentary about his life and career called Deodato Holocaust. Directed by Brazilian filmmaker Felipe Guerra, it was released in May of that year at the Fantaposa Film Festival in Brazil with the presence of Ruggero. The documentary consists of a series of interviews that Guerra made with the Italian director, edited with images from Deodato's movies and personal photos. In 2021, Deodato Holocaust was released on Blu-ray in Sweden and Germany in limited media book format containing also a 120-page booklet about Deodato's life and career. The documentary was later released in France and the United States, this time as a bonus feature in collector's edition of other films directed by Ruggero. Deodato died in Rome on 29 December 2022 at the age of 83 from complication of pneumonia, kidney failure and liver failure. An insurance company run by a wealthy English family assigned a group of adventurers to track down a young heiress whose plane crashed in the jungle a few years earlier. Left for dead, the orphan has grown into Gungala, the beautiful white queen of a native tribe of warriors, growing up alongside her faithful black panther. But now, a cruel Arab is determined to steal the sacred diamond necklace Gungala wears around her neck, and his vicious followers will stop at nothing to get their hands on the precious jewel. Can the white invaders trap Gungala, the majestic naked panther? One of the factors that led to sad existence as a bad movie fan was watching Johnny Weissmuller's Tarzan flicks, when they actually used to show such films on the television. From Tarzan clearly swinging through the jungle on a trapeze swing to fighting a rubber crocodile. From cheetah going from a live chimp to a hairy rag doll when thrown across the jungle floor. It was a constant source of hilarity. So it was that within about 10 minutes of Gungala, I realized that I was getting Tarzan, only with bodies and less laugh. I didn't realize that before resorting to slaughtering animals in real life to provide entertainment with Cannibal Holocaust and Last Cannibal World, Ruggero Deodato had made this film a jungle action flick that began nice enough with the pretty kitty Swan running about the jungle in the buff to a nice theme tune. Sadly, the first thing she seems to learn from the modern women is how to cover up. You see, Gungala is the long lost heiress to a huge fortune who vanished when a plane crashed in the jungle some years before. An expedition is sent either by her family or an insurance company, and I have now resorted to having to translate Spanish on the fly, as well as Italian,